You know the feeling. You are walking through your day like a shadow carrying a body doing what needs to be done, ticking boxes, smiling on command. And yet there is a cold space behind your ribs that no sound reaches. It is not dramatic. It is not even painful in a loud way. It's just a steady absence, a missing warmth. Like a house where the lights were cut off months ago and everyone learned to move in the dark. Simone Weil would call that the geography of a life without grace. She does not mean blessings the way we use the word when something good happens. She means the invisible gravity that lifts the soul upward, the soft pressure that makes the heart lighter than its own thoughts. Without it, another gravity takes over. The ego falls in on itself like a star going out. We become heavy. Heavy in our judgments, heavy in our desires, heavy in our need to be seen, to be right, to be applauded. Heavy until even our kindness is a negotiation and our love is a bargain we expect to win. Look at the small places where this shows. The way you refresh a screen to feel chosen. The way silence feels like an insult you must answer. The way you explain your sadness as if it were a resume. Grace is what lets you receive reality without grabbing it. Without grace, we grab. We grab people, hours, reputations, certainty, and we still end up hungry because nothing we grab can feed what is starving in us. Weil calls this other force gravity. It pulls the self down into itself, into the narrow room where every object is a mirror and every mirror shows the same face. You don't need to believe in anything to feel this. Sit very still for one honest minute and watch your attention try to escape. It runs to defense, to fantasy, to plans. It cannot stay. It is a bird that forgot how to land. Grace teaches attention to land. Without it, attention is always an argument. We defend against reality because reality is not shaped like our wish. So we edit it. We scroll past the person we can have help. We soften our words into slogans that cost nothing. We live inside images of ourselves and ask those images to feel for us. That's expensive. The cost is your depth. The cost is your capacity to suffer truth without becoming bitter. The cost is your ability to be present to the world without trying to own it. And the bill arrives quietly. Insomnia that looks like productivity. Anxiety that looks like ambition. Loneliness that looks like independence. Curiosity that decays into gossip. Prayer that becomes performance. If any line you just heard stung a little, stay, breathe. We're going down one level more, not to accuse you, but to hand you a key you may have misplaced. If this is resonating, pause for a second, press like so this reaches more people, and tell me in the comments with one word what gravity feels like in your life right now. Your word might be the rope someone else holds in the dark. There is a hard word in Weil's vocabulary. Affliction, not ordinary pain. Affliction is pain that passes through your explanations and keeps going. It is when life is stronger than your story about life. You plan, you do your best, and the world answers with silence or with a blow, and your favorite skills cannot reduce it to size. Affliction is not punishment. It is not even personal. It is the moment when the false center of the self, the one that thinks control is love, discovers its limits. Without grace, affliction becomes poison. It curdles into resentment, envy, and the quiet cruelty of withholding. With grace, the same affliction can become a clearing. The ground is torn open, but the opening is real. In that opening, attention can learn humility. Humility here does not mean thinking less of yourself. It means seeing yourself without decoration. The way a mountain sees itself when the fog lifts, that sight is harsh at first. You see your hunger for approval smiling as care. You see your service counting its points. You see how you use noise to hide from the one thing you needed, a clean silence. A place where you are not arranging reality, but receiving it. Weil says attention is a form of prayer, not because you say religious words, but because you stop trying to rename what is in front of you. You let the world be as it is, and you let yourself be as you are. And you keep looking until the surface breaks and the light comes through. Without grace, we cannot hold attention that long. It slips. We return to our appetites, to the small reliefs that give us back the illusion of control. buying, arguing, performing, winning. The relief fades. The hunger returns. This is the economy of a heart without grace. High interest, endless payments, no ownership. The world becomes a marketplace where every person is a product and every conversation is a price. You know this feeling. You laugh and feel poorer after. You confess and feel more hidden after. You connect and feel more alone after. The cost of living without grace is not that God is angry. The cost is that your soul loses the memory of light and starts to call the dark by new names. It calls ambition calling, cynicism wisdom, numbness peace, surrender to fear realism. If you are hearing this and thinking, but what do I do? Listen carefully. You do not manufacture grace. You make room for it. You clear a space inside where it can land. That space is made by attention, truthfulness, and a strange word Weil uses, decreation. The act of letting the false center become small enough that something larger than you can. Breathe again in your chest. Imagine your day tomorrow as an experiment. You wake and decide to practice one thing, clean attention. You will not dramatize your pain. You will name it. You will not rehearse your triumphs. You will do the next right task. You will not chase the feeling of meaning. You will give yourself to what is in front of you as if it were sacred. Wash the dish like it is the first dish anyone has ever washed. Answer the message as if the person exists beyond your judgment of them. Walk through the door without calculating your entrance. And when the machinery of your mind starts its usual bargains, what do I gain? Who noticed me? Am I winning? You will not argue with it. You will step aside inside yourself and look for 10 seconds without commentary. Attention is costly. It costs your addiction to being the center. This is why so many prefer noise to music and opinion to thought. Noise and opinion let you stay large. Attention makes you small enough to be true. And when you become small enough, grace can find you. It does not arrive as fireworks. It arrives like a softness under a hard fact, like air where you expected a wall, like a quiet permission to stop pretending. Sometimes it arrives through beauty, a line of light on a table, a stranger's patience, the dignity of someone in pain who is not bitter. Sometimes it arrives through failure, a door closing that you tried to hold open with your whole body. And then you stop pushing and here, behind you, another door you never noticed before. With grace, desire changes temperature. It stops demanding and starts consenting. Not passive resignation, but a deep yes to reality is the place where goodness meets you. Weil would say that real love is consent to the existence of the other as other. Without grace, we cannot consent. We try to merge, manage, consume, fix. With grace, we can let the other be. We can let ourselves be. This yes is not weak. It is the most radical strength you will ever practice because it refuses the old bargain, I will love if I control, and replaces it with the only covenant that heals, I will love because you are. If you're still here, breathing slower than when we began, add your voice below. Write one sentence about a moment when silence helped you see. Share it so someone else remembers to try. And if you haven't yet, drop a like. This is how the message finds the next person on the edge. There is a phrase in Weil that can sound impossible. We must be nothing in order. That God may be all. Many hear that and think it means erase yourself. It doesn't. It means stop worshiping the costume you built to survive. The costume worked. It kept you safe or admired or productive. Bow to it for what it gave you, then hang it up. Under the costume is a person who can be addressed by truth, who can be moved by goodness without needing to own it, who can receive beauty without turning it into a brand. Decreation is the slow, honest removal of what keeps you from being reached. It is not a technique. It is a way of standing in the world with your hands open. When you are open, you will feel poor at first. You will feel exposed. The temptations will multiply. To speak when silence would clean the moment. To defend when listening would free you. To fill the space with cleverness when a simple yes or no would be enough. Try this instead. Choose one conversation today where you do not sell yourself. You do not exaggerate or shrink. You attend. You let the other person finish their sentence. You repeat back what you understood, not to perform empathy, but to confirm reality. That simple act is a form of decreation. It removes your image from the center, and in that cleared circle, grace can sit down. Over time, something shifts. You become less interested in being impressive and more interested in being precise. Less interested in winning and more interested in seeing. Less interested in escaping pain and more interested in bearing it cleanly so it does not spread. That is how affliction becomes bread for others and not poison. And when you fail, as all of us do not make a show of your failure, nor do you hide it. You confess to yourself and, when needed, to those you have harmed. Confession is not self-hatred. It is reality maintenance. It keeps the floor under your life from rotting. A life without grace rots from the inside out because the truth cannot circulate. A life with grace stays fresh because the windows are open, even when the weather is severe. If this chapter is helping, tell me one practice you will try this week. 10 seconds of clean attention before you answer. One honest apology. One or without the need to be interesting. Comment it, pin it to your day. And if you want more of these deep dives, subscribe now so you don't lose this thread when the week gets loud. Now look at the world again. The same streets, the same faces, the same tasks. But something is different. You are not trying to swallow them whole anymore. You are letting them exist. That is the first sign grace has entered the room. The second sign is even simpler. Gratitude arrives without an object. You are grateful, period. Not because anything improved, but because you are allowed to be here and to see. That gratitude does not make you passive. It makes you exact. You become careful with speech. Not careful like fearful, careful like a surgeon, like a builder, like a poet who refuses a cheap rhyme because the line deserves better. You become careful with time. Not hoarding it, but honoring it, placing your hours where love can actually work. You become careful with pain, not running from it, not worshiping it, but letting it teach you what matters and what can be dropped. This is the opposite of a life without grace. Without grace, we use people for meaning and use meaning to avoid people. With grace, people become ends and meaning becomes a side effect of loving them. And when you pray, if you do, you may notice something surprising. Your prayers become shorter and truer. Less make them change so I don't have to feel this. More let me see what is real and do the next right thing. If you don't pray, call it attention. Sit quietly for 3 minutes and give reality your eyes without editorial. If you cannot do 3, do 1. Consistency is the doorway through which grace loves to walk. And if you feel unworthy, that is fine. Worthiness is not the currency here. Consent is. Consent to be seen. Consent to be led. Consent to be small enough that love fits. So here is the closing practice. Before you sleep tonight, recall one moment today where gravity ruled you, where you grabbed, where you performed, where you judged. Hold it without excuse. Whisper out loud, if you can, I consent to the good I cannot make. That sentence opens a window. If this journey touched something in you, share this video with someone who lives under heavy skies. Leave a comment with the word light so I know you are still here. And if you want to keep walking with us through the dark, subscribe and turn on the bell. We're building a quiet school for those who are done pretending. Grace is not a prize for the perfect. It is the air for the honest. Breathe.